We are in the meeting.
I thought you were about to go leave our job recovery.
Respectfully,
My bad.
if you mention Charlie Kirk in this meeting again, you will probably get down.
Other door, Marcus. I believe in you. Oh, I should probably fold up my cane so I'm not being like a nuisance.
I'm being a nuisance.
Well, if it's in other people's face, it kind of is.
Yeah, but if they deserve it,
Yeah, but usually Riley sits there. She doesn't deserve
that's true.
it.
Riley probably deserves it the least
Exactly.
out of anybody here. She never pisses anybody off.
Riley's the best.
All right, we're talking about the sun. No, we're talking about Riley. Okay, what does Riley not deserve?
I had my cane unbolted and kind of like in the space, and then I was like, "Oh, I don't want to be like a nuisance or anything." They was like, uh, "Well, if they deserve it," and I was like, "No, Riley almost sits there."
This is true. All right, let's go.
The Fitness Gram Pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity
With the
test.
twang too. Why the twang? Rose.
You're
I think you tested all the other mics already. Nope.
That sounds like a not me problem.
You want to test the mics, Marcus?
No. I'd like to avoid crashing but that shooting in Rhode Island. A couple of days ago.
Another another one in Rhode Island.
Well,
Two mass shootings in the same state that's roughly the size of our campus in the span of 6 months.
I wouldn't say it's the size.
No, but it's deceptively small. However small you think it is, probably smaller.
The answer I've been given, and this is from
Testing.
funny enough, I was waiting on a bus and I ran into somebody who was from Rhode Island who had moved to Michigan. And by this individual's metrics, Rhode Island is a smidge smaller than the entirety of Oakland County.
I believe it.
Rhode Island's big.
You know who's from Rhode Island, funnily enough?
Mhm.
The guy who does the voiceover for the smart bus announcements.
That is fine.
Nobody knows what his name is. I just know he's from Rhode Island.
Testing.
I think Oakland County might have.
So,
It's speaker. It's always that damn speaker. I told you it's that damn speaker.
Rhode Island is about.
But it's like exclusive to this one.
Rhode Island is about a
testing.
Let's turn that one down. Where's the thingy at?
Which one?
Uh,
Do I have a number in it?
no, why don't? Oh, number 5.
5.
Yeah, and this one.
The other thing too that would make my life easier
Talk about-
is if we could get all of these people to sit at 3 tables instead of across 4.
Yeah. And look, it's probably not that deep.
Testing. That seems better.
We'd love to see it.
That comes up bad. Remind people to turn it off.
From Roger.
I keep on telling people to turn it off. Somebody comes up and they're like, "Oh, it's off for some reason." Yes, it is off.
Why is this fuck ass projector not turning on?
Because it hates us.
Maybe it's-
Testing.
Maybe it's just projecting something. That was so bad.
That was bad.
That was really bad. No, it's the projector. Wait, no signal.
I know. I'm just testing the HDMI.
The hell? You've gone over how this goes with Al?
Yes,
It's not getting. Oh,
Yeah. I've troubleshooted this a couple times. Back in the days where I set up.
all right, you do that. I'm going to top up my water.
Have fun. Don't die. Don't get pregnant.
Didn't plan on any of those.
Good. Be bad for your health.
It'd be bad for your sanity.
Probably.
It'd be bad for mine. Are you trying to troubleshoot the damn HDMI cord again?
Nope. This thing is not receiving power, so it's clearly just not.
What's this big power bank for then?
Nothing's plugged into it either. That's funny. There's always one in here. I just need to trace the wire well enough.
Oh, is that white cord?
Thank
No.
you.
Uh,
I just ran into my writing center tutor for the third time today. Can you believe it?
How coincidental.
there we go.
What a small world this is.
Also probably does not help that. Oh, no.
It flickered.
It's receiving a signal. I'm gonna try turning the projector.
There we go.
Yay, I'm God.
Make sure the sound is on too.
We can find that out. It's
Nice, get down.
As we like to say, it's not an OUSC meeting unless there are technical difficulties.
Hey, we might start on
I said that on Friday too.
Did we check those two?
I don't care. I just want to get over this fuck ass meeting.
You and me both.
Too many approvals on my end.
11.
Hmm.
Well, let me make sure I have
Not
it.
the
count.
Planet bills. I don't care about these approvals. The
Five.
bills piss me off.
Okay, only 10 items, new business. How long is this meeting gonna go? 10 items of new business. Some of which we'll probably have a debate to them.
7:30.
7:30?
7:30. That's I'm not gonna be here, but still. I'm ditching because I have like a fight.
I will
So-
admit, meetings have been going a lot quicker
Since I took
lately.
them. Since I do them fast.
Yes, I will give you credit where credit is due.
And also like lack of discussion.
That was going to be my other point. There's also been a general lack of discussion on everything.
Right. Not due to like anyone just not talking and that's a bad thing. It's just like,
kind of-
That's
there's probably-
kind of
there's probably-
resolved in there.
I mean, there's a morale problem here. Everybody knows that.
yeah, even then people still argue.
Yeah, they
It's a
still
not
argue, but
controversial thing.
We're too
nothing's
depressed.
going on
We're
with-
too depressed to even argue with each other. Look what that says about us.
That's not true. That's not true.
Well, if you're to arguing the seasonal depression route, I can give you credit, but the weather is getting
That shit's
much
over,
nicer.
man.
I mean, this is the first time. You know, this week was the first time I took an MICE board meeting outside in ages.
Good.
It was warm.
A little fresh air do us all some good.
I've been able to have my window open in my room a couple times to get a fresh breeze in. But I think it just depends.
Yeah.
Well, it's also helpful that a bulk majority of things are only getting a first reading, so we don't have to vote on them. And honestly, it just depends on how much people need to yap. Why is it so blurry?
Oh yeah, did you see this thing from OUSC?
Don't even get me started on that
Now,
bullshit.
Marcus, land area of Rhode Island,
Yeah.
about
I did
about
see it.
1,100 more
It's-
square feet than Oakland County,
Really?
or square miles. But it depends on the age-old question: do you count the water? So if you count the water, they've got it to be by like 500 square miles.
No, we don't count the water.
Well, if you don't count the water, we're no longer the biggest state east of the Mississippi. That would be Georgia. But if you do count the water, we are by a wide margin.
I will count the water only in the sense that I refuse to let Michigan be beaten by Georgia.
Here's the thing we're gonna bet on that. Do you guys think we're having an early spring or is it a full spring?
I think it's a full spring.
I think the groundhog is full of shit, so whatever he said is wrong.
Groundhog
said-
gave us 6 more weeks of winter.
That's true. And then we immediately got water.
Yeah. I think it's a
Groundhog's
full
still full of
spring.
shit.
I don't trust the weather enough.
Good evening, folks.
Autumn.
Oh, I forgot to grab flags. Okay. I don't think I need.
I
the
was just
entire
about to
thing.
say, I saw the email.
No, you
work
can be
before
responsible for
I
getting.
think it's really funny that I have work
Right.
at 5:30 and they send me an email at 5:15 to say that I need to get it done before 5.
Get in and sign it as soon as you can. And
Certified Oakland
Yeah, I'll get it
University.
done tomorrow.
Get your team.
It's been an
That's-
ice rink.
I'll figure it out tomorrow.
The shooting was at an ice rink.
Shooting?
Yeah. And the victim was a preteen girl.
A preteen girl in hell?
It's one of the victims.
I got it.
You know what I'm gonna do?
Yeah, that door is locked. Somebody put the stand down.
Effective today, every time there's a mass shooting on the same news as GBM, I'm doing the moment of silence.
I was gonna eat moment of silence.
Fuck that, I'm doing it first.
I'll do it before the meeting starts. That would be the most appropriate thing to do. Please.
I haven't broken a flag by waving it in a while. Maybe I shouldn't.
Don't be broke.
Womp
We
womp.
don't, cause by the time we run out of them, nobody's gonna want a flag. All we want, terrible.
Womp womp.
That would be.
What else have we done? With our most?
Well, there is absolutely no one on the
Zoom. Well, there's still have one.
Zoomy Zoom. What are you, Oomy Zooming?
I love that show. My favorite guy was a good show. My favorite guy was the blue one.
I don't remember that much about characters.
I know, right?
SAFB got fancy on us. That. Did you get my email with the spreadsheet for the nameplates and stuff? Okay. Once you're done with it, let me know and I'll send in the order. Zach really wanted to do a nameplate order, so he has something to do. So I told him to wait after today and then he can send it in.
Yeah, Tuba was gonna order ours for SAP, and I was like, let's switch it to gold. Me and Allie wanted to do it in October, but we were like, oh, we have a full board. That just seems like power. But I had to hire an entirely new board, so might as well.
Oh. I sent in the fund transfer to Sage for the drag show. I don't know when I was about to send it, but I'm letting you know that the ball is in their court. You need to know that.
Well, if everything's in their port, then you do anything request related, then it's fine. They'll just be like, oh, we don't have the money yet.
Well, in our instance, they just email me and tell me when the money is being sent.
Right.
Luckily, so I'll let you know when I hear back on that, but I wanted to let you know I sent that in.
You just keep that thing on. Oh wait, yeah, you're literally talking the whole time. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's
I
not good.
tell them
How
at the very end, then the message. I want the entire thing. Only.
Well,
Well, I don't
Yeah,
like that
it only
stuff, like,
bends
the whole
once.
thing or like the middle. It makes me upset. Don't use that adjective. I don't like it.
You're talking to an English major, Rose. You're gonna get all sorts of fancy words.
Like the word moist.
No, none of that.
Moist is not a fancy word or a pleasant one.
Pachyderm.
Pachyderm. An elephant?
My disappointment's immeasurable. My days range.
No. And this isn't happening until 5 o'clock. You ain't paying attention.
No, I know. My day is not right. My day was ruined the moment I had to wake up. Yes! I did makeup for it. We shouldn't have lost. This should have been an easy win.
You did makeup to watch soccer just to lose?
Yes!
That
Yes,
sounds like
I
something
did.
you do, though.
I did some.
We are gonna have space for Elle when she gets here. And
There's one more chair.
is Logan going to?
He said if he would push come to shove, we'd bring up a chair at the end.
Push come to shove, we shove somebody off the table. Rose says she's leaving early.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah, I am.
All right.
Yes, we will have space. We'll help.
I'm gonna leave.
SAMB is always the first getting thrown off the island.
I'm gonna leave right after the majority bidder. Like that.
Sweet. So Elle can have your seat. No offense, but we need your
You got some fancy going on this week.
Yeah, please.
Got Gabrielle
What,
again.
Leap at 6 o'clock?
Yes, I'm tired.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the meeting. Pardon? Yeah, they should be on the front table outside our office. That's
Paternity and story. Read life.
By going to sleep at 6, I mean I'm going to try and sleep, not stay awake way too long on my phone and probably play FIFA.
So when are you actually?
Are you going to make your team win at FIFA to get over them not winning?
Yes. Yes.
See, I saw.
I do that every time without him.
I should get you Madden.
I have a Madden collection.
I have an old one, my old Xbox. I don't have a console. Do they have Madden for PC?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, I'd buy that now.
I have Madden. I have
Okay,
Madden 25 on PC.
join us. There's an open seat.
What up, Doug? Sweet. So sweet.
I've been becoming a Bears fan of his Clover. It's really funny.
She's a Packers fan.
Yes, she is a
Yeah, that's the
Packers fan,
point.
and that's stupid and dumb.
Clover's from Minnesota?
She's even been to Lambeau.
The Packers are from Wisconsin.
You need to get up to date, Marcus.
You think you're the only one in this room that hasn't had sleep?
Womp
That
womp.
reminds me
Like-
when Kayla asked me whether Pittsburgh was in Indiana.
Oh wow. That's diabolical.
I think you're muted for the entirety of this conversation.
Don't worry, Caleb Williams is gonna win a Super Bowl next year. Just watch.
You know what I watch when I need a moment of pure catharsis?
What?
I watch the reactions when the Lions played the Cowboys and we beat them 47-9 at home on Jerry Jones' birthday.
That was Jerry Jones' birthday.
That was his birthday, and that brings me. Michael!
You know what's almost as good?
Hmm.
On this past January 30th, which is the Browns' birthday, we beat the What's up?
I sent you your timesheet. Did you get it?
Oh, no, did you see that? I see.
Got it?
Yes.
Yes. Folks, the time is now 5:29. We're gonna get started in just a few minutes.
How many people are on that?
Only two. Javier and Lance. No.
6, 7.
I was counting the number of people in the room.
My man, too busy being the bane of your existence. That's on record. Let it be noted for the record, 6, 7. No.
The chair of SAFB would like to know for the record, and I quote, 6, 7.
For the record, I'm filing
I mean, if all goes well, we'll have an actual judiciary committee.
Next week.
I'm okay with Earl making like dictatorial decisions. Yeah.
Against you.
Trust in Earl's judgment.
Meta. Who else?
Right. Right.
Hi there, folks. Welcome.
Come on in.
All right, everybody.
Whoa.
5:32. We have a long agenda. Calling us to order.
Righty.
We got Hamza here too. Start by stopping the music. All right, we're gonna call the roll here. Speaker fee to take. Steering Chair Valdez. Parliamentarian Vella. Judiciary Chair Black. Commuter Support Chair Lunger. Legislator Baker. Legislator Juzwicki. Legislator Abazai. Crickets. Legislator Markowitz.
Present.
Thank you. Turn the sound up a little here. Legislator Mays.
Excuse.
Thank you. Legislator Masson. Did not see her in the Zoom. And looks like she's not here. Legislator Obra. Legislator Rosario. Get the chat up here. Rosario's present in chat. Thank you. Legislator Wesley. Legislator Wiegand. Legislator Wolf. All right, with 11 members present, we have a quorum. Next, we'll move on to the land acknowledgement, which I will try to do quickly. Oakland University resides in the ancestral, traditional, contemporary lands of the Anishinaabe, known as the Three Fires Confederacy, composed of the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi. The land was ceded in the 1807 Treaty of Detroit and makes up southeast Michigan. In recognizing the history and respecting the sovereignty of Michigan's Indian nations, Oakland University honors the heritage of indigenous communities and their significant role in shaping the course of this region. Further, we recognize the wrongs done to those forcibly removed from their homelands and commit to fostering an environment of inclusion that is responsive to the needs of First Peoples through our words, policies, and actions. The preservation and perpetuation of customs and traditions of indigenous nations are essential to our shared cultural heritage. A deep understanding of Native peoples past and present informs the teaching, research, and community engagement of the university in its ongoing effort to elevate the dignity of all people and serve as shared stewards of the land.
Thank you, Slim Shady.
Diabolical.
Next up is the approval of the agenda. A summary of the incredibly long agenda is currently on your screen. It's so long I had to make the text smaller. Do we have a motion to approve? Moved. Do we have a second? Is there any opposition? Agenda is approved without objection. Next is the approval of the minutes from 3 previous GVMs. Do we have a motion to approve those? Moved. Seconded. Any objection? Without objection, approved. Next up, are there any announcements at this time? Director Van Patten, go.
Okay, I'm gonna make this quick. We have a very long agenda, so I'm going to ask the ledge. There's a lot of first readings. We can talk about things in the ledge meeting and we can talk about things outside of meetings. Right, I just want to remind everybody of that, just so we can get through as much as we can possibly get through tonight.
Thank you, Director Van Patten. I have 2 very quick announcements of my own. First, comes from our Board of Trustees liaison, Mr. Seidel.
So this Thursday,
Mike.
Go to the microphones and folks.
Matt, would you rather I just say it? Okay. This Thursday at, what is it, 3 o'clock? 3 to 5 p.m. in the ballrooms upstairs is the University Senate meeting. Sorry, the banquet rooms upstairs. The University Senate meeting. A major topic of discussion will be the 90 credit degree proposal, which we endorse. We would like to see as many students as possible there in support. If you can make it, we would be eternally grateful.
Turn it on.
the reason why this is important is because for students in the selected tracks, this is not every track, but in the selected tracks, they could save between $16,500 to $25,500. And this is the only proposal that we will ever see that will reduce the price that it costs to go to Oakland University rather than increasing it, which it has increased by $100 on average per credit hour since I started here 3.5 years ago. If you're a science student, it's increased by 120.
Thank you. In the words of the provost, the executive vice president for academic affairs and provost, this Thursday will determine the course of the university's future, and we would love to see you all there if you can. Secondly, This is gonna be a bit of a downer, but this afternoon, there was, unfortunately a mass shooting in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and, I decided it would be appropriate to observe a brief moment of silence in memory of the victims. Thank you. Legislator Mason, are you, present or present and voting? Thank you. All right, we'll move now into new business, starting with CB 6830, presented by Chair LaBelle. You have the floor.
Thank you very much. As everyone is starting the tradition this meeting, I will keep it brief as possible, especially because it's the first reading. So this bill is essentially just to, Chair, if you could scroll down just to the.
Yes.
Thank you. This is to amend the SAFB payroll because for the past 2 semesters, SAFB has been budgeting for a director position that we have not been using. And when I took over this role, decided I still would not be using it because it's not useful. And so I am reallocating some of the hours that were allocated to that position to the other board positions because my board has been working really hard. If you could scroll down just a little more.
Okay.
It just allocates $720 from our starting budget to the directors of outreach, director of audits, and the director of design to raise them all from 12 hours to 15 hours. That's the bill.
That is the entirety of the bill. Again, with the understanding that this is a first reading and we have a lot to do tonight, are there any pressing points of discussion from the body? Seeing none, we'll now move on to item B, approval of Terry Bill as legislator. Speaker for Yentite, you've got the floor.
Yeah, so I'll just start off by saying, can I use a different mic really quick?
Speak softly and you should be fine.
I'm scared. So Terry,
Where's lower down? It might be pointing at one of the speakers.
maybe, I guess this works. I'll keep this just in case.
Thank you, Mr. Seidel.
But Terry Bill was on, when I transferred over to speakership, Terry Bill was on my list for members to eventually be approved, and just recently got all the signatures to the legislator. So with that, I'll let Terry speak for themselves, and yeah.
Thank you, Terry. You've got the floor. Come on up to the podium and just give us a brief speech of an introduction.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Terry Bill, and this is my
Speak a little better. Oh, there you go.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Terry Bill. This is my first year at Oakland University, my second semester. I do live here on campus, and that's kind of a big motivator for me. I'm wanting to be on in a student congress. I just want to be another friendly base that people around campus and issue ideas to be suggestions what they would like to see around campus, or something that would like to see student congress sponsor things of that nature. I also think this is the best way for me. I'm a political science major, and so I think this is the best way for me to give back to my campus community. I also have a ton of experience doing community service. Going to kind of sense that's what a lot of what we do here, and it's confirming that's going to be kind of second nature to me. I haven't a lot since I was school, high school, and now I'm hoping to continue that here in college. And I know there's supposed to be questions if any. So if anyone has any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Thank you, Terry. Are there any questions for Terry at this time? Legislator Wiegand, followed by Parliamentarian Villa.
What some of the service work? Good question. Some of the community service, donating blood. I've donated a lot of blood since I turned 16, which is I think the youngest age you can do it. Also food drives, clothing drives during the winter, and then I'm not from this area. I'm from Saginaw, Michigan. there is a big gun violence issue in my home city, and one of the groups that I was in organized a march against gun violence, and we worked with other organizations, Mom Demand Action. We had our state representatives as well as our U.S. representative there marching with us, and we gave speeches on how, to put down the guns and things like that, and how serious of the issue that is affecting my community back home.
Thank you, Parliamentarian Vella.
Hello. Coming into the legislature, do you have any initiatives in mind that you want to pursue?
Honestly, not ready for that. I kind of wanted to keep an open mind and really just see what everyone was already working on, because I am new. I don't want to step on any toes thinking, I know everything right away or anything like that. So I just want to get a feel and then see what we're currently working on. So, and if I can help there, or if I have any suggestions or things like that. So mainly I wanted to help out with what everyone is currently working on before I kind of started my own.
All right, thank you. Is that all, Parliamentarian Vella? Are there any other questions for Terry at this time? Speaker Fiat.
Yeah, so I asked that for one, because we recently passed a bill saying that you have to work a minimum of half your hours, which is legislators this semester have 5 hours. Could you commit yourself to working at least half your hours, or even maybe like your full hours during the week?
It's 5 hours?
Yes.
Yeah, I can do that.
Perfect, that's it.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for Terry at this time? Legislator Markowitz.
Yeah, just a quick follow-up question. I was curious if you could speak to, since you kind of wanted to get a feel for all the initiatives that we do before jumping in on your own, is there kind of a time frame in your mind of like when you want to feel like, okay, like I know all the initiatives that OUSC does, and at this point is when I'm going to start working on them?
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to get a feel for this semester, because I know this semester is about half over. So I wanted just to come in with still a half semester here, get a feel for everything and meet everyone, make connections. And then probably when I come back, or even over the summer semester, kind of right around then is when I wanted to. So maybe 2-3 months of kind of learning the ropes and meeting everyone before I jump in around.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any other questions for Terry at this time? Seeing none, Terry, it's customary for perspectives to leave the room for a brief discussion period, after which we'll vote and then we'll call you back into the room.
Just a point of information, just so you guys know, that front door right there is locked from the outside for some reason, so the back door is the one to use.
And as another point of information, remember, if you talk loudly, you will be heard from the hall. Is there any discussion at this time? Speaker Fiat, followed by Chair LaBelle. Go.
Right.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say, honestly, I'm very impressed with Terry. Becoming speaker, Terry was one person on my list that wasn't originally on my list. Just because, unfortunately, the last speaker, Lovesy Clover, just accidentally forgot to put him on there, but he had all his signatures, except for the few signatures that he needed to get, and he made sure that I knew that I was supposed to get the signatures, which I already loved. Very adamant about getting this position. And we talked a few other times about comfortability being in student congress, and all the other stuff that comes with being a part of student congress. And I feel like Terry is definitely someone who could be passionate and potentially be leadership in the future, just because he seems to really want to be involved and do stuff that benefits students. So I think everyone should vote yay.
Thank you, Speaker Fiat. Chair LaBelle.
I have a couple points that I can make, but just for the sake of keeping it brief, I'll just make one. I really appreciated the note he had about donating blood often. I particularly I used to donate blood often, but due to my identity and sexual orientation, I'm not allowed to anymore. So I appreciate when people do donate blood whenever they can. That I do.
Thank you, Chair LaBelle. Are there, oh, I'm sorry, Legislator Markowitz.
So I will acknowledge that it does scare me, the fact that they mentioned that it would likely take 2 to 3 months to get them onboarded. But with that being said, I'm definitely in favor of bringing new people in that are interested, and I think that that just shows us as a body that we really need to make sure we're doing a good job of getting people onboarded as quickly as possible. Because if it were to actually be 2 to 3 months, in my mind, that's not really an acceptable range. I think 2 to 3 weeks is sufficient. And so just something for us to keep in mind. Obviously, he doesn't know exactly all of the things that we do and what goes into it and how long it takes to get onboarded. But since that's kind of his expectation going in, I think that we should make sure that we help bring him on as quickly and as efficiently as possible so he can actually contribute to initiatives this semester. With that, I yield.
Thank you, Legislator Markowitz. Chair Black, followed by Parliamentarian Bella.
To continue speaking on 2 to 3 month issue, we can call it. My interpretation personally is that that was a very, I guess, liberal estimate, a generous estimate. And speaking from my own experience and from the experience of people who I watched get approved, who are now my colleagues, there can be a tendency to come into this, especially that particular question of when you start branching out and making initiatives and coming up with ideas on your own, coming into it with a lot of nervousness. And I think if we do our jobs in welcoming and giving this new legislator stuff to do, and if our speaker does their job, which I trust them to do, I completely trust them to do, I think that that will prove to be the very generous estimate that I believe it to be. That in fact, we can get into some new initiatives fairly soon. With that, again.
Thank you, Chair Black, Parliamentarian Bella.
I'll be brief, but I think he has potential. I think we should be pushing him into getting like some initiative off the ground pretty soon. I don't think it'll take too long for him to get the hang of how the system works. But I just think there's potential here. That's it.
Thank you, Chair LaBelle. You're next, followed by Speaker Fiat.
Thank you. I'll preface by saying I know nobody's actually speaking against Terry for saying he'll want to spend like 2 to 3 months learning the ropes. I will say, in my own experience going through this process, not only at a similar time, but at this same day 2 years ago, it did take me 2 to 3 months to adjust and actually find an initiative that I wanted to work on. It took me literally the entire remainder of the Fruity Ferguson admin to like really know what I wanted to do. And as long as somebody is like, as he said, it's his first year, if he's committed to student congress and stays here for a year or two, I personally would have no issues with him taking that long. Without you.
Thank you, Chair LaBelle. Speaker Fiat.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, even if it takes him a few months, if he's getting adjusted, I wouldn't expect any new legislators to come in here with new ideas, because honestly, I know from personal experience that I first time I came in here, they would be really bad ideas. But like I plan on giving Terry the resources that he needs to be an effective legislator, as well as help him where he needs, but give him the liberty to do what he wants. And with that idea.
Thank you, Speaker Fiat. Are there any other points of discussion on Terry at this time? Seeing none, y'all know what time it is. Now moving into, without objection, a roll call vote on the approval of Terry Bill as legislator. Speaker Fiat. Black. Baker. Bella. Drewswicki. Markowitz. Legislator
Yay.
Markowitz. Thank you. Ms. Owen. Cobra. Rosario. Wesley. Wiegand. Wolf. Someone please go get the new legislator. Welcome, Legislator Bill. You've been approved unanimously. Two things, Legislator Bill. Are you present or present and voting? Okay. Second, can you come up here and to give me your email address so I can add you to the contact sheet?
Just write it down here and we'll get it.
Thank you. Present, and I have to go. Bill, Terry, okay. That's concerning. Our next item of new business is the election of the majority leader. We have two candidates and it will be on Speaker Fayette to present. You have the floor.
Yeah, so I'm gonna keep this part. Obviously with us losing, our former majority leader, Brummer, we need a new majority leader. And I think with it being, Legislator Mills, said, nearing like the middle of the semester, we really need a majority leader to help the speaker in doing these initiatives, as well as like doing the initiatives we have been doing like Mr. Products. So with that, I'll let Allison Jizwecki come up here first, and then we'll.
Legislator Truzicki, you have the floor. It should be.
Just tap the. Oh no, you gotta turn on.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. I'm Allison Roswicki, International Relations and Japanese major, and I'm running for Legislative Majority Leader. I'm running because I want to ensure we see real follow through on the initiatives already in motion, which are wonderful, by the way. It may have taken some time to get the ball rolling on these, but we have legislators leading important projects like Legislator Wolf's Library of Things to Legislator May's Accessible Textbook Initiative to ongoing sustainability efforts, judiciary work and bylaw reforms. These initiatives are amazing and I'm ecstatic the legislature is operating at this level. I've also talked with former Legislative Majority Leader Brummer about continuing her ACMI initiative and have clear steps lined up to move forward with that. I've been actively supporting many of the efforts I noted before. I've done outreach for Commuter Sport Chair Longer's Neurodivergence Acceptance Week and Mindful Mondays, and I'm excited to continue supporting these and help with planning, as well as the Campus Week Committee and Commuter Appreciation Day. I intend to fully use the hours afforded to this position that is required every week, just as I've consistently done in my current role, to make sure legislators have the support and resources they need to achieve their goals. Much of my time in Student Congress, now coming up on 2 years, has been devoted to the Menstrual Product Initiative, as many of you know. That initiative is something I'm incredibly proud of because it represents what Student Congress can do when we commit to something long-term. We fought for it, we funded it, and implemented it, and it directly improves student life. That experience taught me the importance of continuity and follow-through with initiatives, which I would bring to this role. I also want to contribute to making this legislature as productive and collaborative as possible. I tend to speak selectively during meetings because I want my contributions to be meaningful and constructive, but echoing Judiciary Chair Black's sentiments, I believe productive disagreement, thoughtful questioning, and collaboration are essential to strong leadership, and I'm committed to helping foster that environment. Finally, I already know I work well with our current speaker through Student Congress and other shared work. The majority leader's role is fundamentally about partnership with and supporting the speaker. As Speaker Fights Today's secretary in another org, I understand how to communicate effectively and get stuff done. Ultimately, I'm running because I care about this party. I care about the initiative we started, and I want to help ensure we follow through on the work we've committed to doing. Our past president, Jimena Garcia, recently commented on OUSC's empty leadership, and I'm hoping to fill that gap. Help the legislature achieve their goals and follow through on my own as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Legislator Trzwicki. Next, we will have Legislator Wolf come up and give a short speech. Oh, yes, you're right. We probably should have
We usually
questions.
do them after both speak.
Yeah, I was
Both speak and then they do questions.
Okay, Legislator Wolf.
Hello, everyone. I am Ben Wolf, work for Benedette, as many of you know. I've been here for also about 2 years. I remember distinctly sitting a lot of the Berkey Ferguson administration's GBMs towards the end of their administration. And I remember witnessing the transition from their administration to the Garcia Bremer administration. And I was greatly involved in the transition from that administration to the lovely Marcus Johnson LJ Lusecki administration. You know, and something that I saw that was kind of important that was sundown and prepping initiatives to be taken over by the next administration. And whilst the past admin did a wonderful job of doing so, that fell a bit short with recent times. There have been a bit lacking leadership, and the executive board has had many failures and incidences within its ability to carry out its functions. And I'm sorry, I'm kind of nervous.
You're good.
But I believe that it is imperative that we must you know, begin to sorry, I'm really bad at public speaking. So sorry. But there are various initiatives such as the vending machine that, you know, there's materials that purchased for that. There's a mental products that purchasing I have seen you know, has gotten pretty dire, which we've gotten down to 1 or 2 boxes. And I've stepped in to make sure purchasing for these mental products has occurred, so that we would try and minimize the gaps in filling these products. I'm sorry. I'm very about speaking in front of a bunch of people like this. But I think what is most important about OSC is all the different roles interfacing and communicating and having the materials in which they need to have to complete their roles and have a successful successful transition from the, you know, the ideation phase of you know, like drafting legislation and then to passing the legislation and then getting feet on the ground to get that done. And I think there's been a lot of failures of transitions between these steps where we have amazing actions, so they don't get put into legislation. And I want to have more follow through. I've seen amazing legislation vote get put into place and then it falls through in terms of people having awareness of these.
Ignore that.
People having awareness of this legislation, the work that needs to be done to get it through. With the legislative meetings or action items that are made either verbally and that don't get written down, or do get written down and never get followed up on. I think that overall, as a majority leader, I would like to foster continuity and accountability in terms of continuity, not just between administrations, but between meetings to meetings, person to person. And I greatly want to be able to step in and have more hours to fulfill some of the essential duties that have been lacking in terms of the various vacancies and firings that we've experienced within the e-board. Like, it is unacceptable for us to not have the vending machine products stocked. Is it acceptable for us to not? It's unacceptable for us not have the vending machine running. And it's unacceptable for us not to be continually making purchases of the menstrual products. We should not be getting down to one single box and then running out. And I am, I'm concerned about, like, once again, the force marking initiative, like, will we have a voice on that as we transition to the next admin? And as I have one more year to be here, with my my biology minor that I'm pursuing, I want to be around to see that happen, to see these initiatives be followed through on, whether or not that's the rewilding of an area on campus, whether or not that is the expansion of our vending machine, and additionally the institutionalization of menstrual products. We've had this immeasurably great opportunity to have one of our most impactful initiatives be expanded and institutionalized and be an evergreen thing that we don't have to worry about as students. And I have not seen any meetings occur on this. I've not seen anyone even mention it again. I'm like, where is Steve Mackey? We need to get him into a meeting. And I think that overall, I just think that we need to start following through things. We need to start asking each other, like, hey, what are you doing to fix this? And that we need to start meeting with each other, not just for an hour in which we have drafted on our Google, our Google calendars. I'd love to be able to have people have more one-on-ones with the speaker, with the judiciary chair, with people on the board. And that's all I have. I'm sorry, it was a very rocky speech. My thoughts leaving and then I got there.
Thank you, Legislator Wolf. Now at this time, are there any questions for the candidates?
Well, we all should stay up just to be safe.
Chair Black, you can lead us off.
So, as almost everybody in this room knows at this point, both of the candidates, your work overlaps with the others very considerably much of the time. And I noticed a pretty big through line in your speech. You're both aiming at doing similar things as majority leader. So I guess my question is, in the event that you, and you can each answer this in turn, in the event that you are not elected majority leader and remain as a typical legislator, how do you see yourself working with the other in their capacity as majority leader? Would anything change? Would that work stay as it is? That sort of thing.
Me and Allison have already discussed this greatly. I think we work incredibly well together, and no matter what happens, I think we both are very confident that we'll have each other's ears and that we will work together to get stuff done. Because I feel like at the end of the day, this is just a title. The only thing that's rather meaningful about this is the hours that we'll be able to clock to get this work done. But I am equally confident in in this position's ability to fulfill great needs and expand upon potential of this legislature, no matter who is elected. Additionally, there is also a need for a student advocacy director position that I believe that both me and legislators Wiki have had some passing interest in, and either way, I think that we're both here for this position, saying very similar things, because we both understand what this position needs, and we're both very intelligent and hardworking people, and I don't what I want more than, I don't really care who you vote for. I just hope that whoever is in this position, that you want to work with them and that you will help them succeed.
Yeah, pretty similar. I don't think there will be any cost cut communication if I get it and he doesn't, or vice versa. We're running on similar platforms, but we do separate work, and I think we work really well separately and together. So yeah, it's not something I'm concerned about.
Okay, is that all from Chair Black?
Yes, sir.
All right, next up, Legislator Markowitz.
So this is a question for both of you. If you wouldn't mind just addressing what your specific goals are as the majority leader by the end of the semester, and then how you know that you've achieved those goals.
I mean, I outlined a lot of them in my speech because there are like literal concrete initiatives that legislators have put out, like that I named in my speech. So, I mean, I can easily keep track of those with legislator meetings, one-on-ones. Also, the initiatives with Emily Lunger, I've already like taken up half of the work for those, and once those are done, as in like neurodivergence acceptance week goes through, as in like legislator Wolf's library of things initiative goes through, like that's when I know that work will be done. And additionally, like for continuing the past majority leader Brummer's goals, that would just mean like doing the contacting she was doing, looking at the professors she was reaching out to. So there are a lot of initiatives that I outlined in my speech that have like concrete endings.
I can think of various markers that I would think the CTO would have done a good job. I think first of all, I would want to have seen there is various, like, meetings with MECD that have been attended by, representatives from OUSC on the book, and that we have and then in those meetings, we've outlined a plan into which we will implement the institutionalization of the menstrual product initiative in the buildings that they accepted to take on. I would want to see menstrual products, in our data having been consistently filled, in all the buildings. And for our vending machine to have consistent outflow of products out to students. And for us to end this semester with a storage closet filled with menstrual products and vending machine products ready to go for the next admin. Whether or not they have a rocky start or they're off to a running start, I want them to be prepared. I want to see action items within legislator meetings walk out of that meeting and into real life. And I would like legislation within meetings to be remembered and recalled by not only us here within this body, but by other students. I think overall, there's just a lot of things that we can see happen. We can see more course markings on MyFail and people register for classes. And we can start seeing ground being broken on getting rewilding done. We can start seeing library of things items be checked out more, not just because there's more resources, but because we have marketed it more. That's all. I yield.
All right, is that all from Legislator Markowitz?
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. Are there any other questions for the candidates at this time? You know the drill, folks.
Yes.
Well, you folks have a tough choice ahead of you. Let's get started with some discussion. Chair Lavelle.
Thank you. I feel like I've known both of the candidates for a very long time, both about 3 years. And I've had the opportunity to work with both of them on several occasions through student congress, through clubs, just as friends. And I say it's a very tough decision, but I think if I was in the position to vote, which I'm not, I would probably vote for legislator Driswicki. I believe she has a very, very strong drive, and she has the know-how to do just about anything. She's been involved ever since she's joined, and they're probably one of the smartest people I know with that able.
Thank you.
Uh-oh.
Didn't happen.
Okay.
Any other points of discussion?
Patrick.
Speaker Fiat.
Okay, I'm just gonna make this clear, I'm not giving any opinions because I don't want this to be influenced by me at all. But I will say, please discuss this. This is like a very important decision. These are two very great people. Please discuss this a little bit more. With that I yield.
Oprah followed by Wesley.
Oh, okay. I will say I did find legislative changes Wiki's speech to be a little more compelling. That being said, I'm in the office like a fair amount, and like I see both of them like just hanging around the office doing work like a whole bunch while I'm there. Like they're both really like passionate. They're both really like they do a lot of work. Is what I'm trying to say. With that, I yield.
Thank you. Wesley followed by Black.
I think Ben will have a better way of communicating, although I don't know. I would say for like the first few like I've been here, I feel like they put in an effort to speak to the newer members of the OUSC, which I really think is important if you want to be a majority leader, be able to speak to other people who just got here, and then you have to be able to like find a way to make everyone feel welcome. But again, I do not know both of the candidates that very well. But when I've been here, I feel like Ben has made a really good effort on speaking. I feel like they're passionate, and I also really like Allison Drewswicky's idea. Very idea, and that I yield.
Thank you. Chair Black, followed by Legislator Hassan.
I divulged two conflicts of interest at the outset. One is that I have a fairly close personal relationship with Legislator Wolf, and the other is that I am putting Legislator Drewswicky up for approval next on the agenda, regardless of how this turns out. But with that being said, I do think that these are two of the most qualified legislators that could have gone for the position in the first place, and I think their record as they justifies that. One thing I will say is that, and this has come up in a couple of points already, in my experience at least, Legislator Wolf has tended to do better in terms of the public facing side of things with Student Congress, in terms of really giving impetus to our outreach efforts. And given that the majority leader is a legislative position in service of the legislature and under the supervision of the Speaker of the legislature, I do think it's worth noting how much more Ben, in their speech, it was what I remember of it, emphasized the workings of the legislature and connecting with and empowering people in powers to do the best work that they can do. And although I do think both of them might as well be equally qualified, that could potentially give Ben just that little bit of an edge in this very, very close and difficult vote. And with that, I do.
Thank you. Ms. Sam?
Okay, I want to start by saying that it's like great ideas, both of them. It's gonna be a really tough decision, but just from like a personal point of view, I feel like when I'm in the office, I get to see Legislator Wolf more often personally. And every time I see them, they always come up to me and they're like, "Oh, how's your day?" Like more personal. And they're always thinking outside the box when we're in legislative meetings, which is huge because new ideas and like fresh ideas are always such a good thing, especially when we're talking about like with the legislator, stuff like that, that's gonna get more exposure and for student congress. So I really love that. Yeah, overall, I just think we have two really good candidates. So yeah, you'll.
Thank you, Chair, Parliamentarian Bell.
I should also probably divulge one of my personal relationships because legislator Wiki is my partner. But I do think both candidates are very qualified. I think this could be very close. It's really hard to, well, let me just get my thoughts in order. But I think both of them are incredibly driven. I particularly enjoyed what Ben said about institutionalization and sundowning of initiatives, and I don't want any of those to go away. For legislator Wiki, I think she's especially driven. I'm always seeing her like working when we are in the office together. And I've worked with them both with the menstrual products, and I think they both have very good leadership capabilities. So regardless of how people vote in this election, I think will turn out pretty good at the end.
Thank you. Are there any other points of discussion at this time, Chair LaBelle?
Thank you. Yeah, I will note that whilst legislator Wiki is a little bit more reserved than legislator Wolf, I have worked with both. When I was judiciary chair, they were both on my committee, so I've had a chance in the student congress aspect to work with them both. And just echoing a lot of the sentiments across the room, they both overlap on what they want to do a lot, and they're both extremely good at what they do. But from working experience, I think I would enjoy legislator Wiki in the role a bit more. I don't think their more introverted and reserved nature should hurt them in that. With that, I yield.
Legislator Markowitz.
Yeah, I just wanted to chime in. So I think, like everybody said, obviously they're pretty similar candidates, which is the reason why I asked the question that I did. And I have to say that Legislator Wolf, in my opinion, gave the better answer. I don't think that saying like you know if they're done is really an answer, especially with initiatives like she brought up, like with ACMI. Like these are ongoing initiatives that like don't particularly have like an end in mind. And so in order to be successful, you have to come up with internal deadlines of like how you know that you're still on track. And so I thought that legislator Wolf did a better job of identifying those indicators of is she doing what she said that she wants to be doing. With that, I yield.
Thank you, Legislator Markowitz. Are there any other points of discussion at this time? We have about 6 minutes left. Seeing none, is there any objection to moving into a secret ballot vote? Again, seeing none, you should all shortly receive a secret ballot Google form in your campus email. Just for the integrity of this process, please raise your hand when you receive it.
I see everyone's hands intermittently pop up.
Thank you. Is there someone sitting behind Matthew?
Problem with
Sorry, I didn't have to be called on, but
No. Please refresh the page. Raise your hand when the right name shows up. I apologize for the screw up. So to everyone raising the hands, the two names are Allison Drzwicki and Ben Wool, correct? Yeah. Is there anyone who's not seeing those two names on the screen? Seeing none, go for it. I
can shift some from something else, and I think we can make it work.
Is there anyone present who has not voted? Seeing none, we have a result. Can someone please get the candidates from the hallway? Congratulations, Majority Leader, drum roll please. Wolf. Now let's move on to our next item of new business. The approval of Allison Drewswicki to the Judiciary Committee. Chair Black, you have the floor.
Apologies for the delay. I'm updating my attendance spreadsheet in real time to read. As you guys have all heard in my legislative leadership updates, I've been struggling with not having a judiciary committee besides my good friend legislator over here, with which to really do anything. We have a backlog, we have hearings we need to do. I have some ideas for initiatives I'd like to pursue in my capacity as judiciary chair that I would feel like we'll get to later, like an autograph, if I pursued myself a little bit thorough. And so in going over documents, just looking through bring to my committee, I realized what a fool I was for not reaching out to legislators even sooner. And I will, or could say more about that in questions and discussion after she speaks for herself, but in the meantime, I want to give her the floor.
Thank you. Legislator Drewswicki, the floor is yours.
I'll just speak from here. So I was on the Judiciary Committee last term, like last administration. So I have gone through the bylaws, I've made decisions with the Judiciary Committee before, so I feel ready to be a part of it again. And yeah, I don't really have any more to add than that.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the candidate at this time? Seeing none, Allison, can you step out into the hall one last time, please? Discuss. Chair LaBelle.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I definitely support Legislator Drewswicki for the Judiciary Committee as she served on my Judiciary Committee. And I believe they had a really good work ethic in the committee. They always were very very neutral and provided very good opinions when we needed them. And I wholeheartedly support them for this role. With that, I yield and I will take my leave from the room.
Thank you. As a small point, parliamentary inquiry, does a non-voting member have to say point of personal privilege? No.
Point of personal privilege, I'm leaving.
Thank you, Chair LaBelle. Who's next? Majority Leader Wolf, followed by Chair Black.
Legislator, Chair, Legislator Drewswicki, is, she can be incredibly, under making difficult decisions. She can, come to a decisive, sound conclusion. She, can be incredibly impartial. And she also is incredibly, because not only do, the Judiciary Committee not have to do with, decisions upon conduct or conflict, but they also have to parse, the bylaws and constitution and make rulings upon the interpretation of such, and she's incredibly
intelligent, well-read, and legalistically minded person, as she has an interest in going to law school, and I can't think of a person I'd be more comfortable with having these decisions be coming from alongside Earl Obra, and hopefully more people. I yield.
Thank you. Any other points of discussion? Chair Black.
Thank you to everyone who just hyped up my candidate before I even could. I just want to say that the main reasons that I worked to Allison Wiki for this position, outside of simple need for the position to be filled in the first place, are that in working with her on the YDSAE work, for example, we've been in the same room having some very stressful conversations relating to the work our organization was doing, and I've seen how level-headed she is in those situations, and I'm inclined to trust her judgment. I'm inclined to trust her ability to make informed decisions, even when, as is often the case with the Judiciary Committee, the decisions being made are very personal and very contentious. And I am flattered by her quoting me in her speech earlier, but I really do think that she would contribute to good, productive discussion with healthy disagreement in a committee, that desperately needs it if its work is going to go well. And with that, I am.
Thank you, Chair Black. Are there any other points of discussion at this time? Seeing none in the room, are there any in the virtual? Again, seeing none, it's time for a vote. Without objection. Fair to say. Where did Val go? Okay.
She'll be back.
Black.
Yeah.
Baker. Bella.
Yay.
Bill.
Yeah.
Kruzwicki. That's right, she's not in the room. It's been a long day, folks. Markowitz.
Yay.
Mason.
Yay.
Obra.
Yay.
Rosario.
Yay.
Wesley. Wiegand.
Yeah.
Wolf. Do we expect that Val's gonna come back, or should we just go with Allison now? We do have a solid majority. Motion to add to the role of Director of Internal Affairs, chasing down candidates.
Someone's gotta.
Da, 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 da. We are waiting a minute. Anybody got any good ways to fill the awkward silence?
Parliamentary inquiry, do we need to wait for the candidate to get back and have their approval formally announced in order to proceed with the agenda?
Yeah.
Let's get a red flag for the parliamentarian wasting our time.
I'm not, I'm being told. I trust that verdict.
Both Val and Alice are right down the hall.
Yes. All in good fun, of course. Welcome to the Judiciary Committee. Oh, I'm sorry. Legislator Drewswicki, how do you vote? And Speaker Fiat-Tay?
Abstain. Okay.
You can't abstain.
Yeah.
Legislator Drewswicki, welcome to the committee. Can we get some official applause now? All right, next item of new business is an executive appointment. Oh, parliamentarian dialogue.
The guest speaker. I'm gonna motion to table the approval of L. Johnson, the next 5 bills and the resolution so that we can just get to the guest speaker right now.
All right, there's been a motion made. Do we have a second? Seconded by someone over there.
I will say, I could have a motion to pull from the table. So a motion to pull from the table is approval, motion to pull from the table the bill and the resolution.
We got to vote on this motion, all right?
There's no objection,
Is there any objection to the motion? Without objection, let's move on to our guest speaker. Speaker Fiat-Tay. Do we have the slides for the speaker?
See.
Up. Jesus. Okay. Let me get the meeting slides here. I see. Okay. Sorry, this is going to take just a second. More awkward silence to fill. Anybody want to fill the awkward silence?
I can also speak really quick.
Oh, yes, please do.
So these lovely people are the ones who spoke with us, or were supposed to speak with us, the last time, Michigan is against data centers. Unfortunately, there were some technical difficulties, but luckily they could be with us in person today. I will leave room for them to introduce themselves and give their presentation, but I'm very excited for them to be here this evening. Thank you. Hope you guys can hear me properly.
So I'm Adib Yogananda. I'm with Michigan Against Data Centers. I'll be presenting some slides here. The reason I picked this title, we pick beavers over data centers, it's not just symbolic. A lot of you guys know that there's a family of beavers that moved into Gallery Creek really close to us, which is very close to where the data centers are proposed to be built. So that's the reason for the title. I'll also the next. Why are we here? So I want to talk about some of the things that I want to address during this presentation. I want to help empower the students here with some of the very regurgitated talking points that are heard from data center companies and their people that propose them. I want to discuss the validity of these points. I want to help you guys weigh them against the negative effects of these data centers, and I also want to empower you to use those talking points as you see fit. Next slide, please. So yeah, let's talk about economic impact. Let's talk about one of the major talking points, which is revenue, that is supposed to be generated using data centers. Will this revenue actually make it to the universities, and will this revenue even exist? Those are some of the things I want to talk about. Before we do that, I want to set the stage with some of the costs of this supposed revenue that will be generated by the data centers. The first thing I want to talk about is the cost of air pollution. You see this big number here, $700 billion. What is that? That is the amount of revenue that has been lost by the European Union due to health effects of air pollution. This is just in 1 year, by the way. And why do data centers cause air pollution? Looking at data centers from the outside, it may seem like a data center doesn't generate a lot of pollution by itself, but it is important to link a data center's pollution to its electricity consumption. Data centers by nature have a massive amount of power consumption, and that means that they pull from the electrical grid, and this requires using fossil fuels most often to generate that electricity. And that affects public health in the same way that any air pollution from cars would. Next slide, please. Sorry if I'm going quick, but I'm just trying to keep this. You guys can ask questions later. So the next thing I want to talk about is the cost of water pollution. Shun Waste is an organization that did a study on the global effects, financial effects of a polluted watershed. That is $4.6 trillion of money lost in a year globally. This can be attributed to lower productivity due to the health effects of water pollution, the strain on healthcare systems, tourism and real estate that is affected by polluted watersheds, and also reduced agricultural productivity. Next slide, please. Investing in clean water, on the other hand, does have its financial benefits. You can, in some cases, see pretty big returns up to 4:1. That is $4 of return on just a dollar invested in a year. So, yeah, investing in clean water is also, even though it may seem not super. It may seem like it's not a great idea to put a financial number on that. Sometimes it helps. Next slide, please. So these two companies that I'm talking about here are DTE and Oracle. They are some of the major companies, at least in Michigan for DTE and Oracle globally, that are going to benefit from these data centers. They tend to promise a lot of revenue to the communities they build data centers in. But I want to place that in the context of the money that they already benefit from in terms of grants, subsidies, and bailouts that these companies will benefit from just when they have issues with their profit margins. The reason I want to do this is because when they say that we have revenue that we generate for a community, that needs to be weighed against the amount of money through taxpayer money that has already been extracted by these companies. Those two numbers you see are DTE, which has benefited in grants subsidies for about $200 million, and Oracle, which is $3 billion. This is just in the US for context. Next slide. I want to talk a little bit about the AI bubble. Some of you may have heard about the AI bubble, but I'm going to expand on what exactly that means. The AI bubble is a term that is used for what we're seeing today, which is this boom in demand for AI that is in many ways artificially generated. What I mean by that is that OpenAI, Oracle, Microsoft, some of the major players in the AI industry today will cyclically invest in each other
I didn't have a lot of opportunity to put together a slide on NVIDIA, but that is one of the other benefiting companies. These companies will invest in each other and in many ways artificially drive up their stock values in this cyclical investment. And that may make it seem like AI is this amazing thing that's going to make a lot of money. But we need to understand that cyclical investment can lead to chaos because one of these companies fails and the bubble pops. Some numbers for you guys, $200 billion, that is what OpenAI today is estimating on its own. This is a number that it has estimated itself. It's not an external study that it's estimating will need to start turning a profit. OpenAI has never made a profit till this point. It has asked for government support for these funds. And it doesn't plan to start making a profit until 2030. Oracle, recently its stocks plummeted about 40% in the last few weeks. This is in part due to the fact that people are starting to rise up to this AI bubble and this cyclical investment that we're starting to see. $600 billion, that is for Microsoft, and how much it lost in the last few days in stock price. A part of this number is the $200 billion that I'm referencing with OpenAI, because OpenAI had made commitments to Microsoft, and investors in Microsoft and OpenAI have started questioning those commitments and whether they can deliver. Next slide, please. I'm gonna hand over to my friend here, Akansh, and we can talk about this.
Hey guys, can you hear me? Awesome. I'm Akansh Shivananda. I'm also part of Michigan Advanced Data Centers, and I'll also be presenting a few slides about some of the background working, let's say, of data centers. So one of the things that I did want to talk about in a little bit of detail was the security question, as we call it. So one of the bigger companies related to AI and in general security has been validated with existence for a while now. Let's just say that they have been with government since pretty much the beginning. The reason they were formed was for the government to act as a form of surveillance state, to be part of the military, organization. And you can see that kind of in the, let's say, total revenue numbers that they have gained. So just talking about 2024, they gave our total revenue was $2.9 billion, out of which 55% of it was from the government. Some of the places where they get this revenue from is, for example, last year, the Army allotted them about $10 billion over 10 years to create, let's say, an application which they call Maven AI. They have a few other, let's say, AI applications, but it basically gives them access to all of the different information. It could be surveillance footage, it could be videos, it could be pictures of people. A lot of these things, that way they have access to all that information and they can create their own database, and they can use that in targeted killings that, military industry has been doing for a while. So you can see that Pentagon itself, they have 20,000 plus military users, and this is something they have been working on even more, especially with the current administration. This is something that has been building up more and more. And ICE, I mean, this is something that's been like a big talking point lately. ICE has been a customer for Palantir since I think 2011, and they've had contracts upwards of $150 million. And they are creating this thing that they call the immigration tokens, which is basically a way for them to consolidate all of the different information about immigrants, which includes passports, visas, driver's licenses, cell phones, facial recognition, everything basically. That way they can track in real time who can be a potential illegal immigrant. So this is a form of, let's say, predictive policing is what we call it. So this has been a very complicated issue to look into. A lot of this information is available readily online. It's just something we need to look for, but yeah, something that was important to talk about. Close loop cooling. So this is something you'll hear a lot about in the new data centers that are popping up in the way of
these data center companies to, let's say, talk about how they are not going to be consuming a lot of water, because that has been one of the major talking points in terms of how much water data centers consume, because the main working principle of data centers is they have a lot of server units inside these data centers, which require a lot of cooling. Most of the data centers that have been in existence, they've used what they call an open loop cooling, where they have a constant flow of water that goes through these data centers. And due to evaporative losses, you have all of this water that gets wasted, let's say. So they have come up with this new system, which is called cooling, where they use a combination of heat exchangers along with a separate cooling system, which is usually contains ethylene glycol, which is sort of chemical that they can use to cool the system better. And what they basically say is that using this sort of cooling system, they can get rid of all the water consumption in the data centers. But the question is that actually true? So, next slide, please. Okay. So I think one thing that's important to discuss is when a lot of these data center companies talk about their data centers, all the technologies they're using, they always talk about the data centers specifically without actually considering the impacts either upstream or downstream of the data centers themselves. So with closed loop cooling, one of the things that's not usually mentioned is the fact that closed loop cooling on its own actually uses more energy than open loop cooling because of the way it works. So what does more energy usage mean for us? So this is something we did discuss in a little bit of detail, but basically more energy usage means you're just shifting the cost, or let's say water consumption to a different source and not the data center itself. And the problem with that is it's a little bit more complicated to then calculate how much water consumption actually there is from this being shifted to a different source. So there isn't a lot of research, mostly because this is a newer system. So I think it would be important to keep a track of this and try to figure out in the future just how much of an offset there is from using a closed loop system. Because if you're using steam generation, which is what most of the energy production is nowadays, we're obviously going to consume water somewhere else. So it's important to keep that in mind when they mentioned that there is going to be no water usage from using closed loop. Next slide. Environmental impacts. So I think this is something we talked about a little bit in terms of air pollution. So obviously, we know energy generation, most of it what is in existence in the US right now, that's used fossil fuel. So that does lead to increased, let's say, air pollution. So when we're talking about data centers, when they come into existence, if they're going to increase their energy consumption on the grid, that basically means you're also going to see more environmental, let's say, pollution that's going to happen with air pollution. So that I think a lot of the people who are in the sciences will obviously know there's a lot of different types of emissions that are in place. So, for example, non-emissions. This is big customer cases. So this has been something that's been researched for a while, and using, let's say, fossil fuels as a mode of production for energy does lead to increased emissions with this. Other important thing to kind of keep in mind is that with the current administration especially, there's been a lot of, let's say, repealing of already existing environmental regulations, which can also have some sort of an effect on this in general, because there's a lot of effort in terms of repealing greenhouse gas management findings. So that basically means that the EPA doesn't have to any longer consider effects of CO2 and other similar greenhouse gases on climate change, and also the fact that they have stopped considering, let's say, the public health impacts on a lot of their regulations that they are going to develop in the future. So there's a lot of things that are kind of coming into play right now, and you can kind of see that in how these data center companies are trying to increase their own production. So, like I just mentioned, so data centers, right now, a lot of the energy consumption, let's say production in the US, as you can see over here, it's only 8% of all the energy generation in the US in 2024 that was actually made, with renewable energy. Everything else was some sort of non-renewable energy, and most of it, as you can see, was using fossil fuels like natural gas was 38%, coal is 11%, and petroleum is 34%. So one of the things that's important over here, and again, this is in relation to the current administration. So for example, if I take consumers energy, one of the major, let's say, power generation plants is a coal-based power generation plant. that was planned to be, let's say, stopped in 2025. But the current administration has actually forced them to continue operating that power generation plant for a longer time, and they're still running. This is 1 year after they were planning to shut down. So again, a lot of things are complicated right now with how the situation is. So there is not really a lot of, let's say, hope that this is going to change anytime in the near future. And there's other ways also, let's say, they can get around trying to produce, let's say, renewable energy. So, and this is what I mean by other ways that they can get around when they try to produce renewable energy. So, in the Michigan combined laws itself, and under section 460 or 1032, this was something that was introduced in Feb 2024. So what they basically introduced was they had till now a plan of how much percentage of renewable energy it should be used in the production of electrical energy for Michigan. And I believe it's supposed to be some 15% by 2025 or something. So what they did with this new section in the Michigan combined laws was basically they gave a caveat where basically what you could do is if you while ramping up your energy production, if you start introducing large load customers like data centers, one of the main ones, it does allow them to circumvent the earlier applicable laws. And if there's any energy production that's going to be over what they can already produce, then that can be made using non-renewable forms of energy. They do have to give some sort of, like backup for that, like why are they actually doing it? But again, it does give them this, let's say, way to circumvent what already exists. So this is a very text heavy slide, but this is really just my suggestion of 3 questions that will be asked to people who are using data centers, and also the university admin. I won't go through this slide, probably leave some type of questions that you guys will ask you, but please read through the presentation, reach out to us, even after the meeting, I may have any questions. And yeah, I would be happy to discuss.
Are there any questions for the presenters?
Yeah, point out, is it solar like land cost included still like the lowest cost?
Excuse me, sir, we do not take questions from the gallery this time. Just as a rule. If you'd like to speak during comments of the gallery at the end of the agenda. Thanks. Are there any questions from the members this time? Seeing none, thank you for joining us tonight. Legislator Weekend. Okay, thank you. Have a good night. Parliamentarian Vella. Motion's been made. Do we have a second? Seconded by Chair Black. Is there any opposition? Hearing none, the motion carries. We will now move on to our next item of new business, the approval of L. Johnson for Director of Marketing. President Johnson, you have the floor.
I'm going to quote Bakari Sellers from The Keeper of the Train when I say this one. I thought it was really funny how he said it. I'm going to treat you all like Elizabeth Taylor did her 7 husbands, and I won't keep you long. Vice President Lisecki and I had the opportunity to interview Elle over, I think it was not last weekend, but the weekend before, and we were both very impressed with her qualifications, and she was kind enough to join us for our e-board meeting on Friday, so I'm happy to present her to you for approval. Elle, the floor is yours. Feel free to come up to the podium.
Hello, my name is Ellie Johnson. I am a first year here at Oakland. I am majoring in public relations and advertising. I switched last semester to this major from graphic design. I did trades in graphic design at the Tuscola Technology Center in Carroll, Michigan For 2 years, I studied in the graphics and digital imaging programming. And I did a lot of hands-on work with not only people in the program, but people in the community. I worked with a separate company outside of my academic requirements to help with their logos and their pamphlets and their promotions. And they had no clue what they were doing with marketing, and they took me on and trusted me to work with their advertisements. And not only was I a part of that, but I was a part of the National Technical Honor Society in this program, and we all worked in community service, and we took care of our community. And I enjoyed being a part of that community. And coming here to Oakland, I wanted to find a new sense of community. And so I hope to find that sense of community here in the OUSC. And not only do I hope to find that sense of community in myself, but I hope to promote that sense of community for everyone on campus. And there is a lot of subjects that I know can cause controversy and that are hard to talk about, but I feel that people deserve the right to know about that and being a part of this community. And so I would like to be a part of that and present myself in that and help everyone to be involved as well.
Thank you. You sort of picked up the way that we do things here. First questions, then discussion. Are there any questions at this time? Seeing none, I have one. Any relation? The other Johnson here?
I do know him a little bit from.
We are not related. I forgot to say that at the beginning of
Come on,
this.
I've been sitting on that awful joke for 90 minutes. Let me have my moment.
I'm a very basic last name. I'm aware of that, no relation.
We are not related.
Legislator
I know
Berkowitz.
Here. The closest I.
Don't worry, my question is not on if you're related as well. I was just curious. So, Student Congress is notorious for just having absolute shit marketing. And so, with that being said, I was curious if you had any particular ideas that you were bringing in, and kind of what your vision was for the position itself. With that, I yield. Thank you.
Mostly just promotion through social media. I know a lot of social media is very important through campus, and that's how a lot of people tend to stay involved. So I would like to run that as efficiently as possible. And I know physical advertisement is also very important because some people don't keep up with social media, and so physical is very important as well, because I know personally I didn't know about a lot of events until flyers were put up through the Oakland Center. So mostly social media and just physical advertisement, I feel is very important, and I would like to maintain that.
Okay, Legislator Markowitz, is that all? Legislator Wesley. Oh, I'm sorry, Legislator Markowitz?
I was just saying that's all. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. Legislator Wesley.
What made you?
I had worked in graphic design previously, and I had all the requirements and certifications necessary to pursue what I wanted to do in graphic design, and I had already worked in production at a graphic design firm after I had graduated high school, and so I wanted to broaden my opportunities and work further than just production and design work.
Any other questions at this time? Legislator Obra, followed by Parliamentarian Bella.
Hello, okay. This was a intention for the previous director of marketing. But how many hours are you going to work a week? I'm not sure how many hours are allocated to the director of marketing currently, but
Point of information, that's 10 hours.
yeah, it's 10 hours. How many hours are you willing to work the week?
I'm willing to work when I'm needed. I live on campus, so I'm available when I'm needed, pretty much.
Thank you. Is that all, Legislator Obra?
Yeah.
Parliamentarian Bella.
How long have you known about Student Congress, and like how familiar would you say you are with the organization? Can we expect to see you around the office at all?
Yeah, I expect to be around the office. I learned the position early this semester, late last semester, but I do hope to be around the office and be involved in the office when I can be.
Thank you. Are there any other questions at this time? Chair Black.
Hi, nice to meet you. I am the judiciary chair, and these two, as of this meeting, are my colleagues. In our governing documents, there's a lot of stuff about like what fonts can be used in what sizes, and just other general formatting and text guidelines for any promotional materials we put forward. There's stuff about what sort of content you can put in it as well. I just want to make sure like you're familiar with that, and like even if you don't have it right now in front of you, would you be willing to reach out just to make sure that they're aware of those guidelines and know where to find them?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool, thank you.
As a point of information, I'm going to, if Ellie here is approved, I'll catch her up to speed on all the particular requirements and onboarding. Any other questions at this time? Majority Leader Wolf.
This is like a three-parter. I was wondering what hours do you think you might keep in terms of being like in person in the office? What your turnaround on a given marketing material, if I were to be like, here's the language I want to see on something, and here's the general idea of what I want to look like, what would the turnaround be on that? And there's one last thing, but like I'll try to think of it. Answer to
I hope to be in the office around my classes. Again, I live on campus, so I just hope to be around as much as possible so I can just do what I can to engage with the rest of the Congress and engage with social media and get out everything that needs to be out. And I want to promote things in a way that can get out to everyone in the community so that all the information that needs to be out is out and everyone is aware of what is going on campus.
Any other questions? Ms. On?
Yeah,
Thank you. Are there any other questions? At the request of the president, I'm going to check for quorum here. We have had a couple of people step out. So we've had Weekend and Ms. On leave. Are there any others? And we still have quorum. We have 11 present, unless someone wants to check my math. 3. Okay, cool. Yeah, quorum is now 9. Are there any other questions for the candidate here? Elle, I think you picked up the drill here.
You could step in the hallway, please. Thank you.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, Captain.
Discuss.
You should ask if there's.
I'm sorry. Is there any discussion? Seeing none. Without objection, we'll move into a roll call vote on this nomination. I'll have it done by the time you finish this verse.
Okay, you got it.
Beatite.
Yay.
Black.
Yay.
Baker.
Yay.
Bella.
Yay.
Bill.
Yay.
Drewswicki, Markowitz,
Yay.
might as well just go get her now. Obra,
Yay.
Rosario,
Yay.
Wesley,
Yay.
Wolf. Somebody go get her. Yeah, go get your things, come to the cool kids table. Well, we move on to our next item of new business. Is there a motion to pull the next item of new business from the table? Parliamentarian Vella. Do it a second. All right, is there any objection? Without objection, pulled from the table. I think I put the wrong sponsor on this slide. I'm terribly sorry. This is to be presented by Chair Black.
Hello. In the interest of time, I will withhold my speech about not filibustering and how much I hate Cato the Younger, which itself was an interest of time. I'm sponsoring this bill. Val, who wrote a good chunk of it, is co-sponsoring it, and Rose, who's left the room, is its main supporter. You might notice a common thread between these three, that we've all been judiciary chair at some point. Rose was 2 judiciary chairs ago. Val was the last one. I'm the current one, and a common thread between the three of us in our conversations about the position is that we are very, very concerned by the amount of power that the judiciary chair has should things go wrong and should the infrastructure not be in place to stop them. So our goal in this bill is to create that infrastructure by curtailing the powers that are implied to be given to the judiciary chair by Appendix 1 and by restricting them explicitly in Appendix 1. I don't feel the need to go into tremendous detail about each one, but essentially what we want to do is establish a minimum of 3 members for the committee if any hearings are to be held. Now, that doesn't apply to standard judiciary committee meetings. We want to make sure that the committee can still get work done if there's 2 people. But have a good night. Thank you for coming. But for somebody who's dealing with a grievance, we want to make sure that there's at least 3 people who can hear it and discuss it and ultimately vote on it. We also want to make sure that the judiciary chair is not imposing their own agenda on their committee. They are there to facilitate the discussion and debate that's happening about these grievances and hearings and about committee work more broadly. So they're there to answer points of judicial inquiry during hearings rather than doing things like ask leading questions or otherwise project their opinion onto the case. That's all laid out there. And I don't know, does my co-sponsor have anything to add?
I kindly request that you make it quick.
For my sake, I will make it quick. So yeah, I don't have much to add other than I may have missed this, but it also provides a minimum number of people who are supposed to be in judiciary committee, which is 3. So there's an uneven amount so that all decisions have to be a majority vote. Other than that, yeah, everything was already said.
Any questions?
Are there any questions at this time? Seeing none, I'm gonna close this first reading here. Thank you, Chair Black. Also, your name is now on the slide, so you can have your recognition. Next item of new business is CB 68. Wait, is there a motion? What? Is there a motion to pull the next item from the table?
Motion to pull CB 6831 from the table.
So moved. Do we have a second? Seconded? Any objection? Pulling it from the table. Here we go. CB 6831. Allison, floor is yours. Legislator Drewswicki, my bad.
So this is just a bill to add funds for exam cram for food and study materials for students during the event, so that's all it. Is there any discussion?
Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll close this first reading. Oh, I'm sorry, Director Van Pan, my bad.
If there was, I would maybe suggest, some motion to entertain, getting rid of a second reading on this. Simply because we are, you know, further into the semester and getting those funds allocated faster would be better.
Speaker BST.
I motion to move the second reading.
We have a motion, seconded. Any objection? We'll now place this bill in the order of second reading. Welcome to second reading. Does anyone care to read it for a second time? All right, move. Support. Is there any objection? Be entertained.
Yay.
Black.
Yay.
Baker.
Yay.
Bella.
Yay.
Bill. Drewswicki. Markowitz.
Yay.
Oba.
Yay.
Rosario.
Yay.
Wesley.
Yay.
Wolf. Wolf.
Yay.
That's gotta be a record for the fastest we've ever first and second read and passed a bill. Somebody's gotta time that. I think we might have set a record there. Oh, I'm sorry, the bill passed. Next item of new business, CB 6834. Legislator Drewswicki, the floor is once again yours.
Would it be easier, Allison, to just do it from the table?
This I worked on with Emily to create a neurodivergence acceptance week, which we usually do every year. And then the bill outlines like we'll be collaborating with OU Pairs, Best Buddies, OU Counseling Center, and Disability Support Services, all of which I already reached out to and added some of them up there. David Schwartz is from the Counseling Center. And then you could scroll down.
Okay.
We just chose $3,000 because we wanted like show movies in the OC and fund like other things part of the events that we normally do, like crafts and other stuff. But I would be willing, I would wish I had more hours to dedicate to this, but I was planning on organizing it and like getting everyone together to be part of a board for this. So yeah.
Are there any questions at this time? Chair Black.
Oh, just a point of information for people who may be thinking, $3,000 to show movies, that's a lot of money. Why would you need to allocate that much money? As someone who's gone through student art training, as the OSI will tell you, it's really, really expensive to show movies in the Oakland Center. So I'm more than content with that being the amount. I just wanted to clear that up as a potential concern, and I'll leave it now.
I believe, just as a point of information, that cost comes from licensure to show the movies publicly. I figure it is worth noting. Legislator Markowitz.
Yeah, I was just curious if you could speak to the specifics that, like specific events that will be planned, if there's any that are kind of in the making. I'm sure, obviously, we're still a ways away, so I'm sure nothing's been finalized yet. But if you could provide a little bit more context, that would be appreciated.
So what we talked about so far was like the movie like focusing on a neurodivergent main character. I'm not 100% sure what the events were last year, but it'd probably just be something almost exactly like that. Like I said, like there's a lot of like craft times or like trainings for individuals, neurodivergent individuals, especially like in the workplace. I think Julianne's great. Or no, never mind. But yeah. a good, and yeah, like it said there, we do giveaways, so that's cool. That would be what we do.
Are there any other points of discussion at this time? Advisor Miller, followed by Director Van Patten.
Just a point of information for the cost of the films. Is it film or films? Okay, if you go through Swank, it's only $5.25 plus $30 if you don't have a copy of the DVD and or streaming. So $5.25 would be the mains.
Thank you, Advisor Miller. Director Van Patten.
I'm gonna make the same suggestion, although anybody who is weary of that suggestion, since this is a larger event with much more funding, please speak up. And the suggestion is to move it to.
Hearing no objections, do we have a motion? Moved. Seconded. Any objection? Gotta get up my roll call sheet again.
They're on the second reading.
Yes.
Voted, yeah.
Oh, sorry, we moved to the order of second reading. Any objection to that motion? Is that an objection? All right, we're gonna move to the order of the second reading. Any objection? Let's get this thing going here. Pietite. Black.
Yeah.
Baker.
Yeah.
Ellen.
Yeah.
Bill.
Yeah.
Druzwicki. Markowitz.
Yay.
Obra.
Yay.
Rosario.
Yay.
Wesley.
Yeah.
Wolf. Bills passed unanimously. Next on the agenda is CB 6835. Legislator Baker, you have the floor. I'm sorry, do we have a motion to pull that from the table? Moved, seconded.
Let me.
Any discussion? Any objection? Pull from the table, go.
Open it first. Speedy Gonzalez. Really problematic joke.
Yeah, this is a bill that is intended to address horrible winter weather we've been facing and the struggles for commuters. You know, especially when school is getting so close to classes starting. We've had a lot of great ideas for things to provide to students, especially students who you know, to keep them safe, especially if they get stuck somewhere. It would be currently it is written as $2,400 for non-located.
I like the idea. I've done it before. It's a good idea.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Are there any points of discussion? Speaker for yet to take.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna motion yet. I was just gonna say. We talked about this during the legislative meeting, and I think it's a great idea and something we can table on. Genuinely, after this passes, I might put those orders in just to get them, like, finding all this stuff and,
Don't worry about that. Next.
putting the orders in or like finding stuff to put the, orders in for, just so we can do this as fast as possible. And then I can book tabling and then we can get these out. I might ask for help with from President Johnson just because like I'm not too familiar with putting in orders and like, well, I do know how to, but I don't want to mess it up. But yeah, I think this is a really good idea.
All right, thank you. Are there any other points of discussion? President Johnson.
If it makes you feel any better, speaker for the entity, all you gotta do is fill out a form, and then I gotta fill out a form, and then stuff gets ordered. But I'll show you if I do all it.
Are there any other points of discussion?
They're gonna do it. Let's time it. I'm gonna get on my timer.
Hang on. Just for the fun of it. Also, you gotta determine who's moving and who's seconding.
Let me know when you start.
Second.
Is there any objection? Welcome to second reading. Were they read a second time? We have a motion seconded. Any objection? Roll call vote. We have to take. Black. Baker.
Yay.
Bella.
Yay.
Bill. Guzwicki. Markowitz.
Yay.
Oba. Rosario.
Yay.
Wesley. Wolf.
Yay.
Bills passed unanimously. Let's get back to our next item of new business. Resolution this time, spicy. Oh no, I'm tired. Green flag for the presenter running. Majority Leader Wolf. You have the floor. Oh, I'm sorry. Is there a motion to remove this item from the table? Moved, seconded.
This item from the date.
Whoa. Anyways.
Any objection?
This bill is
Go for it.
reforming the campus food committee and incredibly productive.
Majority Leader Wolf.
I,
Information, this is a resolution, right? Not a bill.
yes.
Okay.
This is a resolution reforming the campus committee, campus food committee. A committee that has been incredibly productive and impactful, and I have seen community engagement that I've seen from the committee. Overall, this committee is in the interest of protecting and furthering the dietary needs, dignity, and enjoyment of the student body, whether it's pertains to the religious obligations, medical needs, personal practices, and preferences of a given student. Diet on the most basic level affects physical and mental well-being, and on a more higher level impacts community togetherness, confidence, and in general enjoyment of one's life. And in the words of Virginia Woolf, one cannot think well, love well, sleep well if one has not dined well. And with that, I'll leave you guys to your questions.
First question, any relation?
Oh my God, no.
You really, really did. Speaker if you had to say.
Just because like I do like this idea. However, the only problem I had with this and something that I brought up during the legislative meeting, and it's not that I'm like I will most definitely vote yay, but just something to keep into consideration. The having people in this committee will require a lot of marketing. So just to take that into consideration.
I was a constant attendee of this committee when it was, while it was called during the Garcia Ramos administration, and we had, Chris Reed, the head of Chartwell's, I think his name is Chef Ryan. I'm so sorry, Chef Ryan, if that's the wrong name, and former Director Rising, Director King. It had some very important people, and got to hear about Chartwell's and contract negotiations and all sorts of things. And we had a ton of students, in relatively in terms of OUSC engagement, students would actually show up to this committee, which was very see this. Hear from all area students whether or not included the event would eat vegetarian, not free, kosher, halal. And overall, I got to see a lot of changes and reform and impacts occur because of this. Like, at the bistro on the weekends, when they would have the meals, like such as bikini tacos, or butternut squash mash, like, there's a lot of like change you saw coming from students' comments and concerns, hearing them from these officials, and being put out into the world. So I think this is something that is definitely meaningful and not just another paper pushing, activity.
Thank you. As a point of information, something I just noticed, Chartwell's is one word, not two.
Oops.
Should be.
Friendly amendment, thanks for warning.
Are you friendly to that amendment?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if we have access to edit it. Oh, wow. Okay. Do we have any motions to?
Well, is there any other discussion, any questions? Anything at all? Going once, going twice, going back to Ben.
Do we have any motions to?
I need about 10 seconds to set up the vote sheet.
Making that motion.
Vieta,
Yeah.
Black.
Yeah.
Baker. Bella. Bill. Druzwicki. Markowitz.
Yay.
Ober.
Yeah.
Rosario.
Yay.
Wesley. Wolf. Wolf.
Yay.
The resolution is adopted unanimously. And that is finally it for new business. 2 hours into this thing, next up on the agenda, is there any old business? Please, oh God, say no.
There is none.
Seeing none, we'll now move on to discussion. Is there any point of discussion at this time?
There is none.
Point of information, legislator Druzwicki, or are you taking a point of personal privilege? The answer in the affirmative. Next up is legislative update. Speaker Vieta, you have the floor.
I hate to say this before I'm trying.
We don't need a quorum.
We ain't voting on nothing else.
We have to have quorum to do debates? Not debates.
All right. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Cinco, seis, siete, ocho. We have quorum by 1. If any of you leave, you will face someone's wrath, I'm sure.
Okay, speaking of unfortunately last week. Just for y'all's information, in Robert's rules, a body can meet, a body can talk about stuff, but it can't vote on anything like substantively or do any bills or resolutions without,
Sounds about right.
All right, thank you for the clarification. So I unfortunately don't have any new information as last week I was very, very sick. And I still am very, very sick. I am going to the hospital tomorrow.
Oh Lord.
So with that being said, with the bill being passed, I'm going to try my best to have me and my majority leader start these initiatives as soon as possible, especially ordering the stuff for the kits, the car kits. I think that would be a pretty easy thing to start off with, and then I can start talking to legislator or community support chair Lunger and have their events start planning their events. Additionally, I am still reaching out to prospective legislators. Unfortunately, with last week me being sick, I was unable to meet with many of them. But starting this week, if everything goes well tomorrow, I will be doing that this week and the next week to hopefully get the process.
Thank you. Hope you feel better soon. If there's anything you need from me or anyone else, don't hesitate to ask.
Me too.
Any other legislative leadership updates? Chair Black.
I have a committee. And I just green flags for having a committee. Thank you so much. And I also just wanted to say I am very proud of this legislature right now. I think a lot of the steamrolling through the various funding bills was in part, and forgive me if I'm reading the room wrong, all of us being so giddy at finally doing stuff that directly materially benefits the student body in these meetings. A lot of it has sort of languished in legislature meetings, as new Majority Leader Wolf pointed out. So it's very vindicating for me, and it's very enjoyable for me to see all of that get to this point and get moved through, and those orders are going to get placed. And I have a committee to continue doing my sitting here with my attendance forms and my backdoor stuff. Welcome to the gallery. This is Grant. Apologies. But with that being said, I do just want to clarify where I would like to take the Judiciary Committee. I assume I'm going to be speaking more in detail with President Johnson about this, but I do have some small procedural changes I want to make to Appendix 3 that I'm going to run by the committee as soon as I have a third member, which should be by the next general body meeting, should you all approve them. And just to lay out those changes, I want to make sure in Appendix 3 it says that candidates for student body president have to comply with OSI policy. Right now it says university policy, but I just want to make that as known as possible, that it is the Office of Student Involvement that you answer to as a candidate. Outside of that, I have some tweaking I want to do with the definition of a representative. Right now, there's very little incentive to declare your representatives as a candidate for student body president, because if it's just your friend acting independently of you, they can do whatever they want. They can break whatever policies they want without you having to answer for it. And we're gonna workshop some new definitions, and we already have some in the commentary on Appendix 3 from the previous Judiciary Committee that I was a part of. So I plan on bouncing off of that using Michael Naku's comments, Mario Crisciano's comments. That's where the Judiciary Committee's at. Thank you all for this wonderful productive meeting.
Thank you. Are there any other legislative leadership update, parliamentary and Bella?
Hi, guys. We're planning the parliamentary workshop for March. We're trying to get it off the ground soon, so just stay tuned for that.
Are there any others? Any other legislative leadership updates? Seeing none, legislative initiative updates. Are there any of those? Parliamentary and Bella.
So this is an idea that's been brewing in my head for a minute, but I want to work on a translators night. I'm going to be talking with some professors in the Department of Modern Languages to just have a night where students, especially translation students, can translate some kind of work that's important for them, share it with people. I think that would be interesting, and I think a lot of people here might want to help work on that. I'll talk to, I know Markowitz might be on board to help me get something like this off the ground because it's my first initiative probably. But I've been in translation classes, Drew's been in translation classes. We have 2 people here who speak French. I think there's an opportunity for involvement in here and in the Department of Modern Languages. So I hope to work with you guys on something like that soon.
Thank you. Are there any other legislative initiative updates? Speaker Fayette.
Je serais heureux pour t'aider dans cette initiative. Ouais. Je pense que très bon.
Point of information for the back of the room in English, please.
And I said I'd be more than happy to help you with that.
Okay. If you need help to shut up, I'm for it.
No.
Any other legislative initiative and update and project reports? Seeing none, are there any questions? Seeing none, are there any liaison reports? Amanda, you have the floor. I know. I call her liaison.
Hello everyone. I'm happy to see the efficiency and productivity of this meeting, and I love to see legislators taking initiative, and it's really great to see. I will say that I'm a little bit confused about the campus food committee resolution, because isn't that already codified in the bylaws? Okay. Anyways, that was just a little puzzling, but other than that, I think it was very great to see, and I love it all. But I just wanted to give a really quick update about the Board of Trustees meeting on February 13th. It was on Friday. As you all may have already been aware, there was a really great showing of students holding signs, opposing the data center. It was really good to see the amount of attendance at that meeting, just because usually they're not very well attended by students. So it was really great to see a lot of students there. There was one public comment against the data center. There was 2 public comments for the data center. So it was good to see both sides as well, and all of the board members acknowledged student presence and student sentiment. So yeah, that was great to see. And then I'll just give like a very quick updates with regards to honestly the most substance that we saw was in the president's report. So for example, she gave a update about campus safety. She said that there was going to be an increase in after our like security presence in the housing buildings, as well as I guess she kind of talked about vaguely about greater prevention, preparedness, and communication with regards to safety happenings on campus. She also announced a new oh, and I'm sorry, that was obviously in response to the stabbing incident on campus, just in case if anyone wasn't aware. She also announced a Passion, Purpose, and Perseverance Leadership Award. This is I think in honor of VP McIntosh. You should have gotten an email about this award if you're interested in applying, but if you want more information and can't find it, just let me know. She also talked about the Healthy Campus Initiative. She talked about the first time in a college retention plan. This is largely a provost initiative about retaining students who are first year students. And I think okay, so there were just like a lot of initiatives, and I think that a lot of these can be supplemented by student congress initiatives and work. So I would greatly recommend looking into a lot of these and seeing how you can contribute. And then there was a couple of fun things that she just mentioned that I will mention briefly here is there is a Spirit of Place public arts competition to get a like some type of like public art to be placed on campus, but it's a kind of like a global or national initiative so that people can like submit stuff and maybe it could be implemented at OU. She also talked about solar panels being put at Sunset Terrace, which I thought was cool and interesting. And then other than that, I think those are just like the big things. One of the trustee members, oh my God, Joe Jones. Yes, okay. He resigned from the board, and other than that, I can't think of anything else that was big that happened at the meeting. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. But I'm pretty sure the next meeting will be in April. And those are all public meetings. I would encourage you all to attend. All right, that's all. Thank you.
Merci, liaison. Segment 2. Any other liaisons present to give a report? Pardon?
I think not.
I think not either. Moving on. Mr. President, take it away.
All right, what are the fun things I've been up to? On Saturday, VP Losecki and I had the chance to join Vice President Wadsworth at a women's basketball game. We did not win, but it was fun to go and to show them some support. We had an e-board meeting on Friday in which we were able to introduce Ellie and Hamza to the group and go over just the general overview of who's assigned to do what. That day I was also able to, because I know Majority Leader Wolf mentioned this earlier, I was able to give Doug Lalone, who runs facilities on campus, keys to the mentioned product dispensers so that he can disseminate them amongst their staff. I also got him in touch with our contact at OpFlow so they can start the process of buying the products on their end, but I also told him I'm going to follow up with him to make sure they were able to do that. I think he's still waiting to hear back from OpFlow. A few committee meetings on my end. Many purchase requests got submitted over the past few days, which is always fun. I'm just waiting on OSI to sift through those because I know they get a lot. We had a meeting with VP Wadsworth at like 3 today. And I wanted to start by saying, because I did not know that this had happened, the resolution that was written in class about campus safety was sent by that professor to Ora Pescovitz. I did not know that that had happened until VP Wadsworth told me today when I gave him a physical copy of the resolution, and I've been told the only thing I was cleared to know that I have been cleared to say is that they are, quote, exploring options. I don't know what that means. I've not been given a clear idea of what that is yet. I just know that they're having some discussions about it. We did discuss the notion of OUPD doing more actual foot patrols on campus. And he told me that it's something he didn't seem objective to, but he'll talk with Chief Gordon about it to see if there's a thing that they can do. I know there used to be an office in Vandenberg Hall that the police used to use, but that is now where Grizz Recovery is, so we don't have it anymore. But he thinks there's a lot of things that the school used to do that could help in the actual presence of the police department that we could try to see if we can't bring back. I did follow up with him on the remote work policy that I had discussed with you all, which was more so based on when the university is closed, how can they approach, student workers who can't work? Because when we can't work, we don't make money. When we don't make money, we don't get paid. And when we don't get paid, we can't afford things, like attending Oakland University. It's on TV. So he actually informed me that the director of the Financial Aid and Scholarships Office is reviewing the policy because I guess this is not the first time it had happened, and they were already experiencing some issues with the policy in itself. So he said she's reviewing that, and her thinking was in line with what mine is. So she's going to kind of combine what I was thinking and what she was thinking together to see if they can't send that through the proper governance channels. And I did bring up, because we had a conversation about the SRT's ICE report that came out, or how to engage with federal agents, especially those coming from ICE. And I did share some concerns, that I had and that I heard others were having about, the school's willingness to engage with ICE when it comes to these types of things. And this is not what was said. And Vice President Lasecki, please correct me if I was wrong on the inclination I got from our conversation. But their main point is that the school has every intention of following the law. Now, they recognize that when produced with a court order compelling them to give things to the federal government, they cannot say no. But I didn't, how did I word this in my head? I wasn't able to get them to say point blank period, they can't give anything to the feds because that's not true. They would never be put into a position in which they can. I think his concern is the risk of intimidation to their staff, because he acknowledges, like we do, ICE is going to do whatever they want to, whenever they want to. And he doesn't think there's much stopping them from, barging into someone's office and waving a badge around demanding information. He did say he will reaffirm to his staff that FERPA is a thing and that we cannot just go, willy-nilly giving out students information, especially sensitive information. And he did clarify that he has involvement in preventing that from happening as well. So his point is also just clarifying to his staff what to and not to do, and to make sure that students are not being unduly targeted in that notion. But I will let VP Lasecki mention if I said something incorrectly or if I missed something there. And I will be following up with him this week because they're having a debrief meeting with OUPD following the stabbing. So I'd like to see if there are any insights from that we should glean or what have you with regard to that. And I will spend some time this week digitizing my reports so that they may be submitted to the archives. I believe that covers all of my things, and with that, I will yield the floor.
Thank you, President Johnson. I'll now try and make my report pretty brief, though I have been up to a lot lately. President Johnson did cover pretty well our our interaction with Vice President Wadsworth today, which left me reassured that the university is not going to equally cooperate with outside authorities unless required to by law. We had our e-board meeting last week. It was a good time for our two new staff members to get to know the rest of the e-board and to divide up some priorities and set the course for how the rest of this term is going to play out. Got the vending machine restocked after a while because I misplaced the key and did not find it until this past week.
You didn't find it, I did. Actually, Zach found it.
As a point of information, Director Van Patten found the key. Credit where due. The vending machine's back in business though. I'm gonna check it twice a week, as long as I'm here. I apologize for the delays on that. That is entirely on me, but the vending machine is back in business. And we're working on getting a few of the out of stock products ordered. That should be done within the next couple of weeks. You may have seen I added some new slides to the screen in the Student Congress office lobby, just as a means of communicating what we're up to with the student body. Someone previously made something similar, asked legislator, but made it very clear that they were going to take it with them when they left. So I needed to fill that void, and I think they turned out pretty nicely, and I will keep them updated pretty regularly, including tonight after this thing is done. We've met with the elections commissioner to finalize the elections timeline. I won't steal his thunder. I'll let him cover that in his report. Tomorrow I will be representing Student Congress on the Provost Student Advisory Council, talking about the student experience. If there's anything that you would like brought up to the Executive Vice President of Academic Affairs and Provost, please let me know before 5 o'clock tomorrow, and I'll do my best to do so. It is a pretty short meeting though, so I can only do so much. Finally, I was happy to take part, even only as an observer, in the Sustainability Shark Tank project, in which we, as Student Congress, led by our illustrious Director DeMond, awarded a $5,000 grant to Bambi Johnson for her plan to clean up and save Bear Lake. We're hoping to have Bambi speak at a meeting to discuss this project at a GBM sometime soon. Finally, I would be remiss not to take a tiny bit of personal pride, but mostly being proud of all of you for such a productive meeting tonight. In less than 2.5 hours, we've passed 4 pieces of legislation, read 2 others, approved 4 new members, or people to new positions at least, and got through a pretty long guest speaker presentation. So I think you all deserve a short round of applause for your work tonight. And with that, I'll yield to any other executive board reports. Okay. We'll start with Chair Elections Commissioner Pizzurro.
Would you be able to pull up the schedule finalized by chance?
Let Riley speak first. I'll have it up by the time she's done.
Even though you stole my thunder, yes, the Sustainability Shark Tank went very well. We had 5 participants who all did great. I wish you guys could have saw them, but I would like Bambi Johnson to come here and speak, also not related, if that's a question. It's an ecological restoration project, so basically we'll be adding native vegetation around Bear Lake. So it'll be starting in the summer because it is frozen and cold out. Well, not today, but in general. So if you'd like to help, I would like some people to help out with that. Also, rewilding. I met with Dr. Jameson today to speak about the Earth Month Fair, everything going on, basically the Habitat Restoration Project, as well as digging for facilities and grounds, see if we can stop mowing places and plant native wildflowers. But this Wednesday at 2 p.m., if you're interested getting outside, we are planning on throwing some seeds on the biopreserve right by the Native American Niche site, and I will let y'all know about that. But yeah,
Thank you. I'm sorry for stealing your thunder. I should have left that one to you. Oh, okay. Sorry. Commissioner Pizzurro.
Hello, everyone. So also in an effort to keep things brief, as many have said, but also to make it thorough since this is important, President Johnson, and Vice President Lasecki and I have finalized what we
for our election timeline here. So the time to declare candidacy is now until February 27th. And also just with spring break and everything, kind of had to dance around that as well. So putting the week between that and orientation, which is the week of March 9th, followed by the platform due dates on March 15th, kickoff March 16th, last day for signatures on the 23rd, and penciled in debates for vice president and president March 24th, 25th respectively, and voting taking place the week of March 30th, and with the congressional address April 6th and inauguration on April 13th. Marcus, did you get the form that you got the form? Yes, okay. So that form to declare candidacy should be on, I believe it's called the flow code. I was not familiar with it before, but yeah, if you have any questions for me, please feel free to reach out. I have a special email as the commissioner at oakland.edu. You're also welcome to email me at l0@oakland.edu, but my last name is difficult. So I'll be checking both. And then Judiciary Chair Black, if you would be able to fill me in on any proposed changes for Appendix 3, that would be great. But thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other executive reports at this time? Director Van Patten.
Alrighty, I have nothing to report other than meeting minutes for my actual work, but I want to say to all the ledge that is here currently, in planning your events and in getting purchases through, what would be very, very helpful and what would expedite the process greatly is if you make the purchase templates yourselves, and get those to whoever can submit the purchase forms, right? So the purchase templates that we have on the OUSC account, just make a copy of that, get all the products that you need, make that, and then give it to whoever can like make those purchases, right? That would just greatly help with that. I can also assist in that. I wish there was more of the legislature here to hear that, but I will be talking to people. Other than that, if you need my assistance, please just ask.
Thank you, Director Van Patten.
I could add one more thing.
Go on ahead.
One thing that I wanted to add is that in terms of the validation committee, I actually do have a few people already interested in that. So I'm going to be following up with them soon so that we can get that process going as soon as possible. Just to, you know, we're in the crunch time already. So just to get everything moving as quickly as we can.
Director Johnson, do you want to offer any words for us? It's okay if you don't.
I don't know. Okay.
Are there any questions for executive reports this time? Majority Leader Wolf.
Could there be like progress being made? Could there be any like attempts to either get a new storage locker room key or to like find the old one? Or to like speak with facilities management on a system in which we will continually have access to it and it won't get locked? I yield.
Yes, we were not made aware of that problem until about 4 hours ago, and we will be in touch with facilities as soon as possible to get a new key.
Just to know, I did email the OC folks earlier today to see if we could get 2 keys so that this problem does not arise again. I will be conducting a very thorough investigation to find what happened to the last key, because I'm certain that is a question they will ask me.
If you have the key, or if you know anything, just let us know. Any other questions at this time? Seeing none. Advisor Miller.
Just very briefly, just to let you know, we have another winter tradition that's happening this Friday. And I want to make sure that you're aware of it, that you are also hopefully participating in this. We are doing Winter Fest. even though the weather is not gonna necessarily cooperate. Looks more like a spring fest. But it is on Friday from 5 to 7 is the tailgate event that's gonna be in Campus Rec. There'll be food, gourmet chocolate bar, a hot chocolate bar, lots of pizza, mocktails, face painting, rally stuff for the game that's gonna be happening at 7 o'clock. So really want to encourage you to attend. 7 o'clock is the OU men's basketball versus Green Bay. And then on Thursday night, a pre-winter activities taking place in Habitat. We're showing Space Jam: A New Legacy. And there will be popcorn pop and also Funko Pops. Is that right? That we will be giving away Space Jam figures because the theme for the basketball game is Space Jam. Hope you will all take advantage of it and come and have a grand time. Thank you so much.
Like to offer a quick red flag to be communicated to the Director of Outreach to any sports team originating from the city of Green Bay, Wisconsin. All right, are there any comments from the gallery at this time? Do you want to speak? Okay. Are there any announcements at this time? One last announcement. Thursday, 3 o'clock. Ballrooms upstairs, sorry, banquet rooms upstairs. I always get the two confused. Senate meeting, reduce credit decrees, save big money, just like it's Menards. Please be there. I get one last bad joke tonight, please. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Any objection? We stand adjourned. 2 hours and 27 minutes. Let's get another round of applause for everybody.
We've had meetings this long, but not as productive. Congratulations to everybody that got a new job tonight.